Welcome back to the Approach Women program. This is lesson 16, Approaching Groups. The first thing you probably noticed about approaching women in the nighttime is that they're not alone, or they're very rarely alone, or you have to wait by the restroom. They catch them when they're alone. A lot of guys have a lot of trouble dealing with groups of people or approaching women who are in groups. A lot of guys get a lot more anxious and a lot more nervous. But the biggest misconception about approaching groups is assuming that you have to talk to everybody in the group. You don't. You're not expected to be an all-in-one entertainer for everybody for the evening. You only need to talk to one or two people at a time, and you'll rarely be expected to entertain an entire group. If you are, then you're doing it wrong. Groups of two. Groups of two at night in bars or clubs, parties, it's usually two girlfriends out together. Almost always, they're specifically out to meet guys. The only exception is maybe they're really, really old friends from out of town who are catching up. But typically, if two girls are out together, they're out to meet guys. Out of their group of friends, they're the only two that are single, and so they're out together. Groups of two are generally pretty easy and very friendly. They'll rarely reject you really harshly, and you will be you will be expected to engage both of them. So do keep that in mind. Groups of three. In my opinion, these are the best kinds of groups. They're still small and friendly, but two of the three girls can occupy each other, giving you more alone time with one girl individually. A lot of times what you'll notice with groups of three is when you approach them, all of them will acknowledge you, and maybe you'll talk to all of them for a little bit, but within the group themselves, they'll kind of feel out who is most interested in you. And so let's say you approach a group, one is not interested at all, the other one's kind of lukewarm, and one is very interested. The other two who are not that interested will kind of separate themselves, leaving you alone with the one who is very interested, which is really nice. Groups of four or more, I usually just pick the girl I want to talk to and approach from the side and just pick off the one or two people closest to you. If you jump in and try to handle the entire group from the get-go, you're going to run into a lot of problems, a lot of awkward situations, a lot of cock blocks, a lot of people. You're going to feel like you're trying to prove something or trying to impress them. Just walk up next to them, start talking to one or two of them at a time, and then once you're in with them, then they can introduce you to the rest of the group and you can get to know the group. But as a general rule of thumb, you should never be talking to more than one or two people for any significant length of time. So here's your exercise. Go out and approach 5 groups in one night. At least 2 of the groups should have at least 4 people in them. Write about your experiences.